Hi, God. Hi, God. Hi, God. I really need to talk to somebody. But there is no one here to talk to, so I'm gonna write you a letter, okay? I just need to know that somebody's hearing this. I almost quit today. Almost just climbed in my car and drove home. It's not like anybody here would miss me. Hey, God, do you know why all this stuff is here? I swear, some days it's like I walked onto a movie set and the director just said, "Hey, guys, let's open up the prop closet and give Grace whatever was in the back." I mean, seriously. A fake mustache. A ukulele. We must be doing the Three Amigos today. I have questions like, why is all this stuff here? And who am I supposed to be with it? I've been a lot of things in my life, and I'd like to know which version of me will make me fit somewhere. Let me back up here. I am a graduate student, and grad school hasn't exactly been what I expected. Mostly, I think I expected to find a place where I belong because I adore learning. Let's be real, I expected my grad school introduction to go a little like this. Guys, we're gonna read good books and have deep conversations and learn together. We're gonna discuss our differences and live in community anyway. We're gonna be energized. We're gonna be inspired. And wow, am I excited. Yo, God, do you remember how my first semester of grad school ended? I was so tired that I drove straight home, and I was sick all the way there. Imagine, if you will, a 22-year-old grad student, freshly done with an exhausting semester, with burgeoning food poisoning from a gas station breakfast sandwich, driving alone for 5 hours from Cedar Falls, Iowa to St. Cloud, Minnesota. I pulled over more times than I can remember, pausing at every gas station and rest stop to upchuck along the way. There was vomit everywhere. It was on my hands. It was on the car seat. It was on my favorite blanket. It was on the outside of my car. The poor guy in traffic next to me was looking over, just morbidly fascinated by this unfolding drama. And that sums up my experience of grad school so far. A stream of overwhelming moments where I found myself confused by my surroundings, disgusted with myself, and utterly unsure as to why I started this trip in the first place. I'm worried grad school was a mistake. You know that feeling you get when you're not quite sure if you belong somewhere? When you think you might not be good enough, or talented enough, or special enough to be there? You know that fear that someone is going to figure out your secret and boot you out? That's called imposter syndrome, and 70% of the population struggles with it, more if you are in grad school. Imposter syndrome sounds like your 11-year-old cousin who's just figuring out how scary the world is. It sounds like your teacher telling you that you really need to up your game to keep up with the other students. It sounds like the other students who are whispering about you in the hallways. Basically, imposter syndrome is that little voice that rides along in the back of your head and questions everything you do, no matter how many times you try to say, "It's all okay."
Welcome to grad school. Do you feel dumb yet? A's are good, B's are bad, and C's mean you should drop out. You're such a failure. How the heck did you get here?
Hi, God. Me again. Remember me? Grace, that shy homeschooler whose parents prayed for her to start talking. I'm sure they regretted that eventually, especially given that, well, I majored in communication studies and I won't stop talking. I'm Grace, and I write fan fiction on the weekends. Yeah, I've written an entire trilogy of Star Wars stories featuring the crazy antics of Hawk Enhu and Retz Markel. I'm Grace, and I love words. I remember one time when I was little, my dad asked me what I thought the word self-seeking meant, and with absolute confidence, I told him that self-seeking was a snail with a sore throat. I'm Grace, and I fell down the stairs the other day. Yeah, this girl at the bottom got this priceless look on her face. Like she really felt bad for me, but she also really wanted to laugh, so I told her to laugh. I'm Grace, and I'm a Christian, and I'm not always sure what that means for other people. But for me, it means it's centered on a relationship with you, God. It means that I'm getting to know you, and I'm trying to be like you, and I talk to you about everything. Frankly, it means you turn my world upside down. I'm Grace, and now I'm a grad student. And these other parts of me are not meshing very well with my grad student self. Like, am I supposed to pick one thing to be? A grad student or a Christian? A student or a writer? Oh, a success or the class clown? I know nobody ever said I had to pick, not in so many words. It's a little tricky to explain. Okay, I'm no dumb sock. By now, I've figured out that a big part of all this is my faith. I know. It's hard to imagine that in the conservative heart of the Midwest, a Christian could have trouble fitting in, but I don't know, I guess I see it in the examples that professors use in class. Some people are logical, and some are backward. I hear it in the way that we're encouraged to talk about our upbringing in the classroom. Yeah, when I was young, I grew up in this little church under a rock, but I grew out of that. I see it in the jokes that fly between other students. Oh my gosh, you cannot challenge the stupid little Christian's opinions. Yeah, people like me don't belong here. Dear Academia, dear Department of Community, to whom it may concern. Why'd you let me in if you didn't want me here? I was honest in my application. I said I wanted to research faith. If that's not a thing we do here, I get it. I'm not complaining either. I just want you to know what happened. A professor, he was talking about what kind of people don't belong in academia. Religious people aren't really a good fit for higher education. Case in point, a significant percentage of them believe that the earth was created by a higher power or deity. Clearly, this doesn't demonstrate the kind of intelligence needed to think, teach, or learn at this high of an academic level. So did you want the door open or closed on my way out? I thought everybody was welcome to come to a university as long as we wanted to learn something. Like, okay. Are you familiar with argument structure? Yeah, here we go. Premise plus premise equals conclusion. You make a couple logically connected statements that lead to a big payoff. In this argument, my professor's first premise, creationists are stupid. The second premise, which I may have explained to him, I believe the facts lead me to believe that the Earth was actively created instead of passively evolving. Thus, I am a creationist. Can anyone fill in that conclusion for me?
You are dumb. You're so stupid. Do you even know what logic is?
Hi, God. There's no one here to talk to. I don't feel smart enough to try. Oh, why didn't I go to seminary? Yeah, that might have been a good idea. Maybe at seminary, I wouldn't have to straddle this gaping divide between knowledge and faith, academics and a relationship with God, looking inquisitive enough for some people and trusting enough for others. It makes me tired to live in two worlds, to act like academics and religion are strictly separated. For me, they're not. And yeah, for me, seminary looked like it could be a place that united those two worlds, a place where I wouldn't have to feel like an imposter, a place where I could ask some questions about faith. Questions like, Jesus was some kind of radical activist. Does that mean I should be one too? What does it mean to critique the nature of belief? How do I introduce people to God through academic work? And, wow. Sometimes I really have trouble believing that God is good. Grace, we appreciate your questions, but we don't ask those here. We shouldn't have to.
Do you know what God doesn't want? People who go to grad school and come back different. You know what God doesn't want? People who ask too many questions. You know what God doesn't want? You.
To my fellow graduate students, in my travels, I have learned that there is one tried and true way to counter imposter syndrome: con artistry. The original con artists, or confidence men as they were known then, surfaced around the turn of the 19th century when society was rapidly becoming more urban. See, as people gradually came into contact with more strangers than they had ever met in their lives, they had to figure out who they could trust and who didn't belong in their circles. Enter the con artist. Are you feeling insecure? Not sure where you truly belong? The remedy is simple, my friend. Pretend to be something you are not. I have been told that I am not smart enough to be here, but through the power of mustached deception, I will prove to them that I belong. This means that I sit through every conversation and discussion that reeks of academic self-importance and teach myself how to smile and frown at the appropriate times. When the professor starts talking about Marxism, I nod sagely until she says the word capitalism, whereupon I scoff loudly. When the student at the desk next to mine starts soliloquizing about postmodernism, I do not admit that I'm not fully sure what postmodernism is, means, or does. If I do that, they will eat me and my fake mustache alive. See, that's the secret to a successful con. When someone starts talking about something you know nothing about, pretend you knew about it first, and then Wikipedia the heck out of it before you get back to class. So, that means we keep up on the latest memes, so we know when to laugh at the right times. We present ourselves as older than 22, so our students know how to trust us. We talk about 12 different salad dressings, even if we ate salad with a fiery passion. And we never climb in a professor's office. Eventually, you can even turn the con on yourself. You can make yourself believe that you belong. When imposter syndrome whispers in your ear, you say something right back. I am a successful graduate student. I am a successful graduate student. I am so totally successful. I wrote a paper today. I wrote a page today. Alright, I wrote a paragraph today, but it was super well researched. Don't even get me started about grocery shopping and practicing my Australian accent in the car, and that amazing conversation we had in the office about the place of milk in modern society. Take that, imposter syndrome. I am totally succeeding at this graduate school thing. No, I made it out of my apartment today. I call that unmitigated success. You know what? You don't get to judge my wardrobe. If wearing a Captain America shirt makes me strong enough to defeat you, then booyah, I'm wearing it. I am awesome. You know what? Fine. You're right. I'm a failure. Does that mean I can just give up and go home? Because that's what this is about, isn't it? Grad school is lonely. Constantly questioning if you're good enough makes you lonely. Feeling different makes you lonely. I have talked to enough of you to know. You are way behind on your thesis, and you're wondering if you should just give up and go home because you're not cut out for this academic stuff. You are the only woman in your cohort. That gets weird. You are older than everyone else in your program. You're younger. You came all the way across the country and you realize that no one here looks like you. You're a little bit like me, and the fact that you have faith makes you hesitant to speak up in class. You in the back, you have a ton of questions that nobody else seems to be asking. You really want to go home, and you are thinking this is not what you signed up for. It doesn't really matter what it is that makes you different, it just makes you feel lonely. And I'm not sure that we prepared to be lonely in a place like this. To whom it may concern, there is something fundamentally wrong with an education system that prides itself on weeding out the weak. Wasn't that the point of our professor's story? During my master's program, I almost walked in front of a bus. Whoa, this is my cohort's first grad seminar ever. We're excited, we're happy, we're ready to get going on this thing, and hopefully none of you make it to that point. 5 of our first year master's students dropped out during our first semester together. 5 of them. Don't worry, this isn't a complaint. I'm not stupid enough to imagine that correlation equals causation. They didn't leave because he warned them they might get discouraged. No, they left because they got discouraged. They left because they realized on some level they were supposed to leave. They were expected to leave to make room for the people who actually belong here. That's what all the magazine articles, and frankly most of the professors seem to be saying, that you should be willing to go through hell to get your master's degree or doctorate, and if you can't handle the struggle, there's the door. Oh, what's that? You're tired? Suck it up, Buttercup. So's everyone else. They're lonely too, but you don't hear them moping around. You are pathetic. You need to go home and close the door on your way out.
You're such a failure. How the heck did you get here?
Instead, I went to High VE, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. As I wandered through those aisles, I pondered my expectations of grad school and my experience of grad school and the wide ways in which those two paths had diverged. I had an epiphany in the pasta aisle where I realized that one thing in life truly never changes: the price of ramen noodles. You can always count on ramen to meet your expectations. So I'm in the pasta aisle, gradually falling into laughter so pure and sincere that joyful tears are but a chuckle away. And this lady starts coming past with her cart, and she's concerned because it's obvious I'm having a moment with some ramen. But she keeps walking because it's obvious I'm having a moment with some ramen. And what else do you do when you see somebody having a breakdown in public? Hey, God. Are you tired of this yet? If I were you, I would be tired of watching Grace try, and I'd send her back to wherever she came from. Hey, God. I thought I was done proving myself by now. I thought I was done taking up space reserved for someone else. I am failing in every way I know how. Relationships, writing, teaching, faith, even eating and sleeping. I was not prepared to fail this hard. Hi, God. I know you brought me here, and I believe that this is something you want from me, but God, your daughter is tired. And that's how I ended up stuck in my apartment for a weekend. And not stuck because I was snowed in Iowa. Stuck because I physically couldn't make myself go anywhere. Because I was so discouraged and depressed with my failures and the thought that I would never be good enough anyway, that going to Starbucks to grade 3 of my student speeches felt like a monumental effort. One of the first things I learned in grad school is that A's are good, B's are bad, and C's mean you should go home. So, for my cohort's entire first semester, we freaked out about our grades. To whom it may concern, why did you bother sending us an acceptance letter if you're so eager to make us leave? This isn't a complaint. You know what? This is an accusation. You said, and I quote from your letter of acceptance in February of 2018, that you were happy I was coming. You said you looked forward to working with me and you'd do whatever you could to help me out. Yeah, guess what? I've tried to be calm and rational up to this point, but forget about it. Let me tell you about the nights I came home from seminar and cried because the professor made everything I did seem pointless. Or The growing number of times I fantasized about leaving without telling anyone because no one here would miss me. To whom it may concern, you have made me and my friends feel like dirt. Bottom of the barrel, worthless, hiding in a stairwell before class dirt. Who said that grad school had to be this hard? Who said that depression and anxiety and wanting to walk in front of a bus were normal? And who gave you the right to demand that I give up the most important relationship in my life for you? When you say that Christians don't belong in your school, you're not telling me to leave a book of ideas at the door. You're saying that in order to succeed here, I need to cut someone out of my life. You're telling me that I don't get to talk here until I prove to you that you are more important to me than God is. It's petty and it's ridiculous because you're not offering a relationship in exchange, and it is stupid that I keep falling for that. I went to counseling for you. I took medication for you. And I studied all night and I wrote things I hate for you. And I am never going to be good enough for you, am I? To whom it may concern, you have hurt us. So figure out what to do about it. Hi, God. I am mad at you too. Is it too much to ask to just fit somewhere? You're the thing that makes me not fit. God, this hurts. To think that some part of me is never going to be right for the people around me, and I can't do any of the things I'm dreaming of until I get rid of that. You have to know that's tempting, right, God? It is tempting to think that I could give up this whole Christian thing, this whole relationship with you, and I could fit. Hi, God. I'm sorry. I just needed somebody to hear that. And there's no one else here. I don't think they understand the choice that they're asking me to make with every joke, every comment in class, every assumption that faith is the opposite of logic, and I couldn't have possibly thought through what I believe. Yeah, I've thought through it, God. I know I've fallen short. if I'm really trying to be like the God I know, then my life should be the embodiment of love. Love is patient. Love is kind. It's humble. It's not easily angered, and I hate looking back and seeing how far I have failed. I am not patient, and I am not kind, and I take offense so easily. I've messed this up so bad, I'm not even sure where to start. This is really hard, God, and I am really tired. So is this worth it? Obviously, I'm still here. And there have been really good parts, like Wednesday night potlucks and purple cohort t-shirts, long conversations in the office. We shared memes and cornbread crumbs and Tuesday soup runs to Quick Stop. The good parts are really worth it, but the loneliness kind of eats them up. The nights I spend alone in my apartment, the afternoons I try to study in bookstores and coffee shops and anywhere but my bedroom. The mornings I plan lessons for my students when I am not sure they learn anything from me at all. I don't think this is worth the loneliness. I don't think it's worth it to be this far away from my family and my friends and everyone I know. I don't think it's worth it to show up to class one more day and keep telling off imposter syndrome. But I am still here, God. So, what do I do? And what kind of person am I supposed to be? God, the places I've been have taken my strength. I'm not sure what you meant. Can't you see how far I'm bent? I wanna be great, just like you. Bold, kind, strong, and joyful too. With grace as my name, I'm ashamed to fall so short. But I trust there's enough grace to make me great. There's enough grace to make me great. I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering whether I belong in my church or my school or wherever else I am. I don't want to let imposter syndrome follow me around the rest of my life. But it will follow me around as long as I let it. It'll follow all of us around, and it will shape the culture of academia as long as we let it. So how do we do this? How do we become the people we want to be and stay in our own skin in a place that doesn't always seem to want us? To my fellow students, it would be a lot easier if you didn't make snide comments about Christians all the time. Like, I get we have faults, and I will admit mine. But it kind of wears me out to hear the same few jokes on repeat everywhere I go, in the hallway, in the office, in the classroom. Christians are dumb. Christians are stupid, Christians are backward, and I like to punch them in the face. Plus, you gotta have some new jokes by now. Unoriginality is just lazy. Tell me how I can help you belong. I can't make imposter syndrome just go away, but I can be here with you, and I can tell you that loving other people helps. Knowledge, like life, is a gift and a responsibility. If all the knowledge we're gathering does nothing but make us arrogant and boastful and heroes in our own minds, then it would be better if we didn't know anything. Love doesn't do that. Love opens a space for other people. Knowledge doesn't hope all things, believe all things, endure all things, not like love does. And love is not about opening a place for me, it's about making space for you. So tell me about the ways that you've never been able to belong, and I will make space for you. Just please, I'm asking, make some for me too. So let's try this again. Let's love each other. Let's be patient with each other. Let's be kind and humble with each other. Let's not take offense at each other. Let's try this again. And let's make some space for each other. Dear professors, do you think that just because you went through this pain, all of us need to feel it too? During my master's program, I almost walked in front of a bus. Or are you telling me that you haven't forgotten how it feels? Hopefully none of you make it to that point. I am not asking you to make this easy for me. I'm just asking you to be here with me and hear me. More often than not, I am ashamed to admit I'm failing. Like, how am I supposed to come to you and say that I have sat at my computer for 5 hours and the words for this stupid paper still won't come? How am I supposed to get past the point of proving myself to you? Dear professors, you are very, very smart. And most of you are very kind. So why do you say such thoughtless things about people like me? I have admitted my faults, and I will continue to admit them, but can you admit yours too? To whom it may concern. Oh, do I want a PhD? No. I'm not the only one, okay? I'm just the one who's writing to ask for a few changes. Hey, God. Thank you. It's been a good talk. There's no place where I'm ever gonna perfectly belong, is there? I think that would be true for anybody. Well, okay. There's one place where I'll belong, and it's with you, God. You're my nexus. You are the connecting point for all my identities, the grounding for my aspirations, the X on the map that all my wanderings lead to. You are the word. I'm a writer, and you are the word. You're the poetry that ties the universe together, the root and the meaning of all language. I'm an artist. You are the sculptor of the world. You made me, thus I make. I'm a thinker. You are knowledge and wisdom in every sense, the genesis of thought. I am human. You are creator. Yet you know intimately and deeply what it is to be human, how it looks, how it feels, how it tastes. I am all these things and more, all these questions and not one answer. So you, God, you're my nexus, the connecting point for all of my desires and the most important part of my identity. An X marks the spot. You're the place I belong. Thanks for listening.